Hey guys, Chris with Half Chrome.
And Jack. And we're here to tell you what we believe the new DJI event coming up July 18th is all about. We talked before about maybe some 360-degree drones, and
we also talked about the Phantom 5, which we hope to see someday soon.
Right, we'd love to see both of these things, but that's not what it's going to be, right? It is going to be the Mavic Pro 2. Okay, so we're here to talk about the big event on July 18th in New York, and I'm going to be there with DJI to see it unfold.
Mentioning unfold, wasn't that the name of their last event?
Yes, so the Mavic Air Adventure unfolds, and what did we get? We got this unfolding drone.
Seize the Moment was the Sparks event, so that was all about, I guess, being able to take a drone with you anywhere, get it up in the air as quickly as possible, and I would say still arguably that's what the Spark's all about, getting it up in the air, easy to fly for anybody.
So we know their theme is see the bigger picture. And see the bigger picture, what does that mean?
Yeah, we've been battling back and forth, what could this be? Since we don't really think it's going to be this 360 drone, what could it be? Probably just a lot more applications like the Asteroid in terms of the custom flight modes. They need a catchy name, so is the drone really going to be all that different in terms of capabilities? Maybe not, but the flight modes could be interesting. We've certainly done a lot with 360 cameras and drones. What kind of new modes might we see?
We're thinking something similar to the Asteroid, but maybe more of a rocket perspective would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, lots of things. We'll throw some clips up here. You'll see when you capture a 360 video, which we've done a lot of, you can really manipulate it however you want. So they aren't going to have that capability, but what they can do is introduce more modes. We could be doing rockets like you mentioned, or flying horizontally and then up, and then you can do a lot of sort of artificial synthetic zooming out into a tiny planet style thing like you see in the Asteroid with a static image, which is pretty cool. Not really a professional feature in most regards, but super cool. We've had a lot of fun with the Asteroids.
Yeah, it is a great way to impress friends. My friends and family, they love seeing those Asteroids because they are so unique. They do have some stitching issues, and I think the Mavic Pro addresses that, and the software gets better, right?
Yeah, the Mavic Pro 2 is probably going to have better stitching. Our Air, especially in the wind, right, has a limited gimbal. One of the issues with both the Spark and the Mavic Air, a little bit limited in gimbal travel. Sometimes that affects the stitching maybe, or maybe they just kind of upgrade in terms of what their firmware can do, and they don't do the upgrades on the Air. We'll see, but hopefully they resolve some of the stitching issues you get in your 360 panos and in your Asteroid modes. But those of you who are interested in a really more capable drone probably aren't too worried about your Asteroid modes. Let's talk about some of the other features we hope to see on the Mavic Pro 2.
Okay, so what can we expect to see from the Mavic Pro 2? Well, the Mavic Air was smaller, but I think the Mavic Pro 2 is going to be a bigger drone, right, Chris?
A little bit bigger. I think it'll better support a lot of the processing. Hopefully we get even better than 100 megabit per second video download. We're going to have maybe some more obstacle avoidance to deal with. All that's consuming some more battery, and hence we're going up, upgrading our battery, right?
Yeah, 15.2 volt is the
expectation.
Yeah,
right?
so
An extra
we'll see.
cell.
We get an extra cell, 4,800 milliamp hours or so, a little more juice.
Right. So we're going to see a little bit faster speeds, which can be misleading sometimes, and also longer flight time, right?
Yeah, definitely. 30. Well, we'll be more than 30 minutes most likely.
There we go. When we say misleading, what I mean is the Mavic Air on paper does go faster than the Mavic Pro, right? Isn't it, by their specs?
It does, 2-3 miles an hour, something like that.
Right, but is it a more powerful drone?
No, it's
Absolutely
not. We've tested it. It's got smaller motors, smaller props. It's not more powerful, but it does go faster.
And if you've ever flown one, you know that you need a lot of runway to slow this bad boy down. It doesn't have the same kind of capabilities as the original Mavic Pro. Mavic Pro, better drone in most ways than the Mavic Air. However, they're targeting a little bit different audience there. So we mentioned the bigger battery, needing to handle more processing, more obstacle avoidance. What are we going to have for obstacle avoidance, do we think?
Well, we're going to get obstacle avoidance everywhere, right? So we have it on the front, in the back right now on a lot of their drones. We're going to get it on the sides and the top, and of course we do have sensors on the bottom. Perhaps we're going to get some infrared as well, right? Infrared is nice because then it's not just relying on lighting conditions. You can see it in lower light. And really, you know, obstacle avoidance in the front isn't all that important, right? You should be able to see what's in front of your drone. Run into something right in front of you, well, that's pilot error anyway. The sides and the back, that's a different story. You know, if you're flying in circles or you're doing orbits, things like that, that's when that really comes into play. If you kind of misjudge how tall a tree is and you're flying sideways, obstacle avoidance in the front isn't going to help you.
Right. First time obstacle avoidance came out on the front of a Phantom, we talked to one of our professional pilot buddies, and he was not at all interested. He wanted rear obstacle avoidance because that's where he can't see when he's flying backwards. I was doing some orbits over the weekend, super paranoid about trees, not being able to judge their height perfectly well, so you're spinning the drone around trying to check out the scene. Sides and back is where you want it. It's going to be there on the Mavic Pro 2. We think, we hope it's there. We also hope it's super easy to be able to turn it on and off with the click of a button, because nothing is more annoying than flying our Phantom, our Spark, our Mavic Air in close quarters with it on, and drone just won't go for you. Super annoying. I had trouble landing it just the other day. I was out at the beach, had trouble landing because there's some trees and it didn't want to come close to me. All kinds of issues. So super nice to turn it on and off. To really be able to employ it, to make use of it, you need the sides and back, and that's what we think we're going to get.
Absolutely. The camera is going to be different. That is important. Chris, tell us about that.
Well, for one thing, I'm hoping it has more range of travel than the gimbals on the Spark and the Mavic Air. Those do generate some issues. I was doing an orbit, and I didn't even realize it at the time, but you go to watch the video after the fact, and the gimbal actually ran out of travel in the middle of the orbit, fighting the wind, I guess. So it's clearly going to have that. That's not an issue on the Phantom or the original Mavic Pro nearly as much, the gimbal range of travel. So that's going to be there. We're getting a bigger sensor. Original rumors were 1 inch. We were highly skeptical about that.
Because it's huge.
It's huge, right? The camera is going to be just gigantic. Well, how big would it be? Maybe like a Phantom, right? So Phantom camera, just too big for a small drone. You're going to be folding up probably, right? So 1 over 1.7 inch, still bigger than 1 over 2.3 that we've got on our Spark and our Mavic Air and the Phantom 3 lineup. So a little bit bigger pixels. It's going to have better low light performance. All right, so it's also the latest and greatest sensor, so newer technology also going to be getting us some better low light sensitivity. We're also expecting to see at least 100 megabits a second that we get on our Air. Made a huge difference. Never been a huge fan of the video quality out of the original Mavic Pro. It wasn't up to pro grade in my opinion. Opinions have been going back and forth. A lot of people don't notice the errors. I personally do. I find it really obnoxious. So there is a better, that is one quality that is much better on the Air and the Phantoms, and for sure it's going to be at least as good on the Mavic Pro 2. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think, you can expect 4K at 60 frames a second, which is what people want now.
Yeah, so more frames. People love that. Being able to fly fast but slow it down, you tend to get some smoother shots. So that's really cool too.
Yep.
Okay, so not a lot of people are talking about the new remotes, but we're going to go into what we would like to see. We're hoping for some upgrades.
Yeah, absolutely. So we like the remote because it's compact and it folds, but it lacks a real screen. I know the Mavic Pro does have a screen, but it's just giving me a little bit of information that I can see on my phone, right? You got to bring your phone. Wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to have your phone with you in order to fly? And I think that is something that's coming.
Probably they're going to stick with one of these remotes as an option. I'm hoping that they have an upgrade that's not too expensive, maybe a couple $100 to get a remote with a screen. One way of doing that may be that we were thinking about was actually to allow compatibility with one of their existing remotes. What would that be?
That would be the Phantom 4 version 2, Phantom 4 Pro version 2, right? It has OcuSync, which is what you need in order to connect to the Mavic Pro remote.
Right, so we've got Phantom 4 now, so the Advance and the Pro, that remote's interchangeable, light bridge technology. Can this OcuSync V2.0, maybe the V2.0 Phantom, part of that was maybe all about just getting a remote out there that would let people buy the integrated screen that could be compatible with the Mavic Pro V2, sorry, Mavic Pro 2.
Yeah. So we'll see. That's kind of iffy, but really it needs to happen, right? This is nice, but for the professional applications, you know, you just need something a little bit better.
Right. We see DJI kind of splitting up what they call their consumer drones a little bit. We're going to see a little bit finer line, I think, in terms of what people are going to be willing to fly as professionals. Me personally, Mavic Air, one of my favorite drones. However, the gimbal range, some of the other battery life, some of the other finer points, you know, they're going to draw that line, I think. They're going to want professionals to be using the Mavic Pro 2, feel more comfortable with that, and part of that's going to be having an offering with a screen built into the remote.
Yeah, hopefully.
Make sure you check out our website. We've got all of the specs for the Mavic Pro 2, the ones we hope to see at least, and the Phantom 5 up there, along with the leaked Phantom 5 images.
So you can get all that information at halfgrown.com. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Happy flying.